Hello, my petals, and welcome back to another episode of the Roze Garden. I am your host, Tabla Rosa, aka La Rosa Negra, or Black Rose if you're nasty. And last week, I came to you in the spirit of setting intentions, carving out your new year, getting what you want from the universe, and making sure that you get results. This year, I'm coming to you in the spirit of not getting got. And I say that just like that on purpose, because you do not want to find yourself in a position where you have set yourself up for disaster, set yourself up for failure, or set yourself up to be disappointed and or used. Now, this all being said, I want to be very clear. Today's episode is not me bashing or defaming anyone. This is merely telling me, or rather me telling you how to avoid getting caught in a situation that will ruin your life, or at the very least make you feel like a fool, have you waste your time and gain nothing. The episode title for today is We Make Wishes on Dandelions Because Roses Are Too Strong. Long-winded, I know, but you'll see exactly what I mean. We, as roses, because we are all on this rose garden together. I call you my petals because each of you bloom and blossom at your own rate, and all I see is the gorgeous petals presented before me. I don't want you to think manifestation is a system of just, again, you wish on a star or you wait till 11:11 and you grant your wishes. It's not that kind of thing. Manifestation sort of works. How do I explain this? Manifestation is sort of like plan making meets realizing there's a greater force outside of you because there's something that's just acting in the world around us. And you can call it physics and the laws of attraction and blah, 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 blah. I don't speak all the big fancies. As smart as I am, my intelligence isn't in, it is in sciences if I would have invested it, but I wasn't too invested in sciences, as I've always been more interested in the critical thinking of sides and as opposed to the analytical thinking of sides. But point being, manifestation is drawing yourself nearer to the things that you want based on what you're doing and what you have now. Some people just call it goal setting. It's technically the same thing, but it's a little bit more belief in the universe. And again, maybe it's all in how your brain is framed. Some people tell you it's all a hoax you tell yourself in your mind. Whatever the case may be, manifestation works for me. But what manifestation is not is a get-rich-quick scheme. It is not an easy way out. Sometimes you will find opportunities that are presented for you, and it is golden opportunities. But if it sounds too good to be true, it is. I need you to hear that again. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Hear the story. So, I'm filming this on a Friday morning. Thursday, the night before, I was scrolling through my emails, checking them, hoping for a response, as I normally do, because I'm in the middle of something with financial aid. I'll explain to that in the back to school episode next week. But I'm sitting here, again, scrolling through these emails, waiting for confirmation. Didn't get an actual confirmation that I needed. I'm still waiting on him to confirm or deny whether or not the letter was great or that everything's good on my behalf and that they're just processing it. I see an email from Snag, because I always go through Snag for my jobs. It's a convenient job pooling situation, sort of like Monster Jobs and Indeed and so much other stuff. I'm pulling through here. I see a job opportunity that says work from home, which automatically gets me as a college student, and they knew what they were doing. So shout out to the people, because they definitely knew what was up. They said work from home. It was $20 an hour, or at least that's the way it was structured on the selling site. It was said to be $20 an hour, and basically, I forgot what the exact like verbiage and how they put it together, but it was basically them saying, "Apply now, schedule an interview very quickly." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so this is maybe a same-day interview process." I go over to maybe fill out an application, prepare for the interview or whatever, because like I'm imagining this is like quick interviews, maybe to start up a company or whatever. They're looking to put bodies in seats, or put asses in seats, to get the company off the floor and get it up and running. Off the ground, and up and running. This is the whole thing. I'm like, oh, I might have the privilege of working with a new company, and while it may not, like, I could see things maybe going like awry, or I can maybe see like potential downsides in this because I'm considering all of the bad sides. I'm like, this could be a great opportunity, because again, if it's $20 an hour, clearly this is a company that's got some sort of investment, or maybe they're trying to build a new branch in this city, whatever the case may be. They're just trying to get everything started quickly. So I set up, I put in my information and whatnot to try and set up this interview, but there's no application. That's what I'm expecting. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to put in my name, my phone number, a contact email, and my zip code so that they know I'm nearby, and this will lead me to the application process, or maybe if they're starting more than one location, or send me to the location that is closest to me. Nope. All I see is, okay, now that we have your information, you're going to get a text message from us confirming that you will be getting your interview tomorrow, and I get a message promptly. Now, let me explain to you this entire situation. I'm scrolling, doing all this shit at 11 o'clock at night. I put this information in at 11:20 exactly. I get a message that says, "Hi, my name is, we'll call her, Kayla. Hi, my name is Kayla, and I am following up on your request for an interview. We're looking for immediate help, and my manager would like to meet with you via a virtual interview. We offer an excellent starting pay with opportunities for advancement, and the schedules are flexible. You will be able to work remotely if accepted." Now, again, this is their whole pitch right here. All of that sounds lovely. College students, so I need a flexible schedule, because my class schedule is the only thing that's static, so I need to work around that. Remote work means I don't have to leave home. It means I can do everything I need to do from the comfort of my computer. And while it's a little bit taxing, it's worth it for me, because then I don't have to try and devote energy to making sure I have all of my things. I don't have to worry about putting on a face mask, because then I don't have to like go out into the world and see people. I don't have to put myself at risk for catching COVID, or like exposing myself to COVID, exposing anyone to COVID, etc., etc. This, like, golden opportunity. But the first red flag is, if this is for a job interview, why are they, one, texting me this information? Like, actually, that's not true. I'll refrain from that, because when I applied for my job at Roundtable, they texted me. But they did not text me after hours. And there was no way for me to check this. There was no business hours. I'll get to that in a second. But there was no way for me to check this business's hours, because I'm looking into it and I'm like, It's a website, but there's no actual like business information or like anything that I can go off of. And I'm not doing too much investigation, because I'm like, I guess I'll explain it tomorrow in the interview. I'm going through this, looking through everything. I've set my alarms in the morning. I'm like, okay, so since they need to set up an interview, they're like, it's a little long to explain over text, but basically you'd be talking with customers, answering questions, and helping place orders. This sounds like I'm going to be like customer servicey, or like it says sales representative. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm helping them with like buying different things. I'm selling different things online, or whatever the case like that. I'm like, sure, I can work with that. I'm maybe telemarketing. I get that. No prior experience is necessary, because we have a full training program. Lovely. They're invested in trying to train me. Again, this really, really sounds like a sweet deal. What I'd like to do is get you set up for a virtual interview to discuss all the details and see if it's the right fit. How soon are you available for an interview? Now, this, my dear, was, again, all of this was sent within one message from Kayla at 11:20 p.m. Major red flag for me. But I'm putting this red flag on hold for, like, maybe it's an automated service and they decided to name it to make it feel more comfortable. I said, I'm available anytime before 1 p.m. over the next 3 days. They're all like, turns out I can get you in either Friday at 9 a.m. or Friday at 3:30 p.m. What do you want to do? I say 9:45 is fine. They're like, okay, great. I have you confirmed for, and the way everything's structured, I now get the feeling this might have been an automated system, but still, red flag nonetheless, because why is this automated system setting up all this information at 11:30 or 11:30 at night? You know, we got all this set up within a matter of 5 minutes. They text me at 11:20. The last message I got from them was at 11:25. Set up the appointment. They're like, you'll be getting a link to your virtual interview via email within 15 minutes. Access it 5 to 10 minutes prior so you can get set up. Good luck in your interview and enjoy your day. Ma'am, my day is long over. Like, this was over hours ago. Why are you texting me now? But again, I put all that aside. I go and check out the email to make sure I figure out everything that's going on, see if they give me more details in the email or whatever. Nope. The email says, Cammie, you are confirmed for an interview on Friday, January 15th at 9:45 a.m. Do not use your cell phone to access this interview. Instead, use a desktop or laptop. We recommend that you log on at least 10 minutes early. Now, for the sake of this being an interview process, it makes sense that they would want me to log on 10 minutes early. But why wouldn't I be able to take this interview from my phone if Zoom is a mobile app as well? That I'll explain why it didn't work that way in a second. Day comes, I've set up my alarms and everything so that I can get up on time. One set for 8:30, the other one set for 8:45, just to make sure that I'm up and running. I go to getting myself together and preparing for this interview, and as I'm thinking about it, 2 red flags is already too much for me. So what I do is I go to my friend that's very, very tech savvy, and I go to text them, and I'm like, I'm nervous. Everything happened so fast. And so our whole conversation goes, what's up? Is it work? I'm like, yeah, because that's later, because this is my first day back into the workforce. I took 14 days off because of the whole COVID scare in the house. I just wanted to make sure that I got purged, and I got, just in case I caught it, because as much as I may be feeling good, they are like, you can be asymptomatic and carrying around COVID in your system. So I cleaned up my space, made sure I stayed to myself for 14 days, didn't bother nobody, didn't go out into the real world, really. It was parking it like it's hot. That was my entire existence for 14 days for the most part. It was like, I have an interview for that work from home job that I applied for yesterday. I didn't fill out an application. I just put in my info and they said interview. But they're looking for people quickly apparently, so I suppose that I will prepare questions. And they're like, that was fast. Good luck. What's the job exactly? And it says remote sales rep. And I said, oh, and I'm like, they have a whole website, but is there a way to see when it was created just in case this is a scam? I don't know. This all seems too good to be true. This is exactly what I asked for. A job from home and financial increase. This all seems incredibly convenient. This is where that whole manifestation part of it ties into this. I was manifesting a better job opportunity and maybe even the opportunity to work from home, because college student, if I'm working from home, I'll still need them to work with my school schedule, obviously, but also if I'm working from home, I don't have to worry about trying to go somewhere and clock in, which makes transportation, specifically on my end, because I do not have a car as it currently stands. That is my main goal for this year, making sure I get a car so I can get around, because transportation is hell. I do not have a car as it currently stands, nor do I have any kind of, secure transportation, because buses are at the very least unsafe right now because we're in the middle of a panorama. But on top of that, even if they were safe, they're inconsistent because some buses run in certain areas, some buses run in certain areas in certain directions. You got to figure out what bus is going what way at what time. Sometimes it doesn't even take you all the way there, and the way the city is set up, you will end up walking a country mile from a bus stop still, depending on where you need to go. I've been in that position before. It's not a cute look, it's not nice, it's not a good look, it's not a good feeling either. Because nothing worse than showing up to a job interview or showing up to work and you're already sweaty. And I say this because I got a job in the middle of the summer. It's usually where I get my jobs. Either in the middle of the summer or for winter break. One of the two. In the middle of fire season or in the middle of blizzard season, you're either showing up wet or you're showing up sweaty and wet. And potentially stinky. If you missed any spots with your deodorant, if you missed any cracks and crevices under your titties, or I have rolls and stuff, if you don't properly deodorize them rolls, and no, I do not mean putting deodorant on your stomach. I feel like I need to bring my friends back from the plus size episode and talk about plus size hygiene, because a lot of people, I know it was a topic that I in high school didn't get to address, and everyone's all you can use fruity soaps and stuff, but you need to make sure that you're cutting funk before you worry about putting any fruity smells on you. So you want to make sure you're cutting through all your odor. And it's not as easy as just put the soap on the towel and wash your body, because body odor be kicking back. That bitch be swinging. Before you know it, your towel will smell like, oh God. And think about a 12-year-old girl BO. That's exactly what you will smell like, but times 10, because you got this fruity smell mixed in with all these stinky smells, and on top of that, they're likely stinky smells that are collecting in different areas because you're using either a wash rag or a loofah, and you're going from the top of your body down. And as you're going down, you're putting the smell from your armpits now onto your stomach, and you're putting the smell that from your armpits in your stomach and whatever may have accrued in your rolls and all that smell of sweat and skin and everything now into the underfolds by your thighs and whatnot. And you do not wash your genitals with this set loofah or whatnot. There's a special way to wash your genitals that, again, we'll talk about in the hygiene section, both on the male and female anatomical sides. Female anatomical sides, really all you want is a little bit of water to allow you to clean the external areas, as the internal is a self-cleaning organ and you don't want to do too much to upset the pH. But again, we'll get into that later. And then you get down your body, and now you're taking all those odors that have been from the top of your body and you're putting them on your legs and taking whatever sweat that's there, and it all accumulates at your feet. And I don't know how to explain this. I'm not a doctor, and this may be me being a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like if you're using them soft soaps and everything with them fruity smells that ain't really cutting through all the dirt and stuff that you need to be getting off your body and rinsing off your body, you are giving yourself athlete's foot. I know that was a whole ordeal that I had to deal with for a while. Unnecessarily. How did we get here? This is a full tangent. Circling back to what we were talking about. The manifestation side of this was me realizing that if there are 2 red flags already, there's likely going to be a third. Why are you setting yourself up to be to fail? And so what I did was I just made sure I sent them. They asked for the link to the website. I sent it to them. They're like, "Did you look it up?" I'm like, I scrolled to the bottom and it said it was made this year, but and everything looks so official, so I'm nervous. And I didn't know this. I probably should have, or I knew this, but it didn't dawn on me in the first part of my head actually, because after I recalled it back and got out of the whole weird panic that I was dealing with, I was like, that makes sense actually. They let me know that every web page is gonna say 2021 right now because it's a licensing renewal, and I'm like, okay. And as I'm going, I'm having them give me information and whatnot, as I find out that it's a group interview that goes into individual interviews. And my first question, because they admit that we're likely finding these jobs as college students or people in high school, they're finding them out through social media, through small ads, and then for us in college, they're finding them on websites like Handshake. So apparently these scam sites know about Handshake. I'm like, would Handshake send you a pyramid scheme job? They're like, yup. I'm like, wow. So ain't nothing safe. I'm going through this, and now, as like I said, I sent them this information to investigate. They're investigating. They're like, I don't like it. And then as soon as they continue investigating more, they let me know. They're like, hey, my cousin used to actively work at this, work in this company, or rather for the company that they're trying to have you sell for. And I'm like, oh, what's tea? And I'm like, I don't really like this either, but should I take the interview? It's in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, so this is real though, because your cousin used to work there. And like, it seems real, but it's very Velma Verve. Now, I did not know who Velma Verve was. I knew about the whole Avon story. I did not know who she was until after I Googled it. Basically, the way my friend explained it is multi-level marketing, pyramid schemes. Because when their cousin was selling knives and literally no one would buy them, he had to pay back the money for merchandise. And also, like, a base number of sales gets deducted if not met. It's targetry, and their hiring base is mainly and mostly college-age students, too. And I'm like, I'll ask about that, because I'm not working a pyramid. And then I got this information that, like, they have an average lawsuit every 4 years, and the company recruits sales representatives from high schools and college campuses in the U.S., Canada, and sometimes through misrepresentation of affiliation with schools. Sales representatives are employed as independent contractors to sell the products to customers, typically through their friends and family members via one-on-one demonstrations. And so I guess as a sales rep, you're going to be like a telemarketer, just calling and selling the items. Now, I'm going to let you know. How is it that when, like, I probably could have found this out through investigation, but again, through the investigation, the way they set everything up, they want you to set everything up in a timely fashion. They're letting you know it's a first come, first served basis, so you gotta move quickly. I'm like, ooh, let me not sit on my hands and make sure I get to this as soon as possible. How is it that nowhere in this entire process did I find out that I was selling knives until after I got into the interview? Nowhere on the website did they mention that we would be selling knives. Nowhere in the like ad or whatever that they mentioned we would be selling knives. I got that it was supposed to be a sales representative position, but as a sales rep, they should still at least be telling you what you're selling. Like, if you're a sales representative for Comcast, you know you're going in, you're selling Comcast items. You're selling internet, you're selling cable, you're selling phone. What else do they offer? Hotspots, everything under their catalog, and you'll learn everything else that you're supposed to sell along the way. But there's no way in the entire fuck that I should find out that I'm selling, first and foremost, I'm selling knives. These big ass fancy knives that no one's gonna buy, because why is the starting part of this $50 and then it ranges anywhere from $50 to $1,000 for some fucking knives? Some knives? It's ludicrous. And then on top of that, the first thing that goes to my mind is, I'm like, I'm selling knives and you want me to pitch this to my family and friends? Baby, I'm from the hood. We get our knives from the same place I got my knives from. Walmart, Dollar Tree, 99-cent store, stores like this. I'm not looking for like forever knives. Or maybe I might later on. That's an investment that I'm gonna stumble into. That's not something that I'm gonna just do because somebody called me. I'm not gonna randomly just buy some knives just because someone like I know is calling me and saying, hey, I'm selling knives. I'm gonna ask you all about these knives. Really, if they gonna cut, like what makes these cut so much better? And they're showing these things like them cutting pennies and stuff like that. In all of my days, I've never seen a penny bend. I've seen pennies get run over in the road. As much as I've seen them get run over and get crinkled up and ruined, for all of that pressure and strength and everything, I have never seen a penny bend. So what makes you think that I'm going to believe that kitchen knives can cut a penny? Furthermore, again, we're circling back to the main question here. If I'm supposed to be selling knives, and I'm not going to tell you the company name, but I mean, won't take rocket science. If you can Google knives and pyramid schemes, you can probably find the name of the company and the sister companies that I was working through as well. I'll give you a hint. Name rhymes with a very common Latinx name. Do with that what you will. You will find it when you find it. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, that's on you. Because I'm not getting hit with a defamation charge. But how is it that, again, if I'm selling knives, there's not a knife in place on anything to do with your website. The website, you have faces of people, and specifically, it looks like a college brochure. It does not look like a business website. None of this has anything to do with calling. None of this has anything to do with merchandising. None of this has to do with anything to do with like making sure that you set a company well. And this man during the interview is wearing a polo shirt. A polo shirt. Now, I'm not one for decorum. In fact, I showed up to the interview in a long sleeve t-shirt and a denim jacket from the waist up, and then they didn't see that I was wearing sweats from the waist down, but until after I got up. But even still, like, I truly don't believe they cared about what I was wearing in that interview, because they just wanted to find gullible little suckers to get into the program. I'm in this interview, and along with all this information I'm gathering, I forgot to tell you, they did not let me know this. They did not let anyone know this. I prepared for this in advance just in case this was a scam and they were looking for my face or whatever. I have blackout curtains, and so the way my room is set up, it's set up to be lit when the curtains are down. And then if I need to adjust my lighting accordingly, I will. But for the most part, with this computer, the way everything's set up, it's set up right against the window, and the way the sun is, it starts on the side nearest to my window. It doesn't exactly touch my window, but it starts nearest my window, and it sets on not as necessarily the other side of the house, but the other side of how do I explain this? The sun is just to the left of my actual window, so like there are houses in the way, but there's enough sunlight that comes through for me to actually get brightness in my room, and really, really good brightness. But it sets on the other side entirely away from all of the houses, so it's not like if golden hour hits, I can enjoy it from a window in my house. I have to actively go outside and take selfies, which is not what I'm going to do because I'm not about that life. But I'm allowing the sunlight to come in, and the way this casts on the camera and everything in my room, this makes my face incredibly dark. Nothing about me has distinct features, and it was for good reason too, because if it had been I would have had a full face profile and everything on this thing, because again, I said, without my permission, as soon as I allowed the camera and everything, they snatched a picture of me from the video feed, slapped it on that profile real quick. I'm looking to the right, I'm like, I don't have a profile set up, so then why is there a picture there of me? And I'm doing the whole thing where I'm moving around to see if the picture's adjusting. No, they took an actual screenshot of what they thought my face would be right then and there, or maybe a few seconds in after I got everything set up. They took a screenshot of my face, slapped that bitch on there. Joke's on them. You can't see shit. Ha, 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 ha. But, going through this interview process, this man is talking to a group of us. Now, I can't see the other people in this group. Makes sense because it's an interview, I guess. But if this were in person, we would still be in the same room if it's a group interview that breaks off into individual interviews. We would still see each other. We would be conversing with each other. We would be able to talk to each other. Whatever's going on. That's also, making it sound incredibly fishy because I'm like, is part of this a video, and then from the video you're going into a, what's the word? From the video you're going into a actual interview presentation? Or is this going to be like a prompted thing? Where they try and assume your questions and fill in the blanks accordingly? I am all confused and torn up and tripping about the situation, but I'm not letting it get to me. I'm just, I'm gonna chillax. I'm gonna get out my own way. I'm gonna ride this wave, see where it goes. If I get my third red flag, I'm out this bitch. Interviews going. Nowhere in this interview process does he talk about an application at all. Because there's not an application. Basically, if you sign up for this and you're excited about selling the merchandise, they will take you. They don't care about anything to do with your life, your job history, experience, anything of that nature of sort. They just, again, want bodies to sell things, and they'll make money either way. But who knows if you'll make money or not. The beautiful thing about pyramid schemes, they work for the people at the top of the pyramid, not the bottom. This man is going on and on about the wonders of this company, and then, like I said, I did not find out we were selling knives, not even during the whole situation, because he didn't explain until right before the video explaining what this company was started that we were selling knives. I had been in this interview for a solid number of, like, how long was I there? Look through the receptuses. I was there for a solid 20 minutes before they actually got to the portion where we were talking about what we were selling. They spent all this time pitching it and making everything sound so beautiful and sweet, and I'm like, this sounds too good to be true. What are we doing? What's the point of this job? Anytime you get to a job interview, you should know what you're getting before you actively get the job, to find out. Like, again, they don't require you to have any qualifications, but you should know what you're doing or what you're signing up for before you get to it. 20 minutes into this interview, I see a 7-minute video trying to explain the beauty of working for this company and selling our knives and making sure they're great. No sir. No sir, no ma'am, no chicken, no ham, no bacon, no turkey, none of it. None of it. After the 7 minutes is up, they let us know that we are essentially being encouraged to talk to, again, and I told you this before, I'm repeating it because partially I'm repeating this out of the whole ridiculousness of all of it, because I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? That is my entire process the entire time I'm listening to this bullshit. They expect us to start with friends and family, and you can encourage them to start with small things because you're not going to have a whole bunch of different things, and then from there you'll work your way up. And you don't get paid $20 an hour, you get paid $20 per appointment. Now, I bet you're asking yourself, what does that mean? $20 per appointment? That means when you have one presentation, you get paid $20 for that presentation. And so if you can get 10 presentations in one day, you made $200 in one day. If you make one presentation in one day, you get paid $20 for one day. Now, ooh, Jesus. I thought I had to like burp or sneeze and I didn't know what was going on. But it'll come out when it comes out, I guess. It sounds good in theory, but in reality, making $20 in one day is not worth it to me when I could be on a job actively working. Like the job I currently have, I make $12 an hour. Making $12 an hour, I'm there. I know for certain because of the way the laws are set up, I am not going to be there for anything less than, I think it's 3.5 hours. It's either 3 or 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours, anywhere in that range. But anyways, that means if I'm making $12 an hour, that means I'm going to make at bare minimum $36, but realistically, I'm not just going to be there for that 12. And it's a guaranteed set of hours there, and you can negotiate hours. You got a bare minimum of how many hours you're supposed to be getting. You can set your capstone of how many hours you're supposed to be getting. I work for about 20 hours a week. That is my goal, 20 to 25 hours. I don't want to exceed it unless I have to. 30 hours is my absolute maximum. I will not work over that because I'm a college student. Working anything more than that, I would be putting myself in immense stress for no reason, and I don't want to stress myself out because school should be my focus, and school's going to be stressful anyway it goes. Now, with me doing this, making sure I'm getting my work in, I get paid on a pretty regular basis. I can see my paycheck. I can see the money manifest in front of me. 12 times 20 is 240. Before taxes and stuff, that's a solid 240 hours. And that's assuming I don't go up to 25 hours or whatever. Because like I said, it's 25 hours is my preferred cap. But worst case scenario, I'll go to 30 hours. That means I'm making anywhere between $200 and $300 a month. I mean, not a month. A week. And whenever I get my paycheck in, that is a beautiful thing. Like, obviously taxes are going to deduct things, but you get my point. This is a nice, solid, stable earning. It's a living. It's not a major living. It's not like amazing to live off of, but it's a living nonetheless. Why would I give this up to potentially make, we'll say, $100 max? Because the way this guy explained it, an appointment can take anywhere from 20 minutes, which means maybe you have the hope of getting to a bunch of different people and presenting it over and over again, which means you can make a lot of money. Or if they have questions, and you're obligated to answer all their questions, as well as making sure you have the best customer service, everything, this can take up to like 3 hours. And you carve out your own hours, and you do whatever you want with your schedule. Now, those same 3 hours that I was just telling you about that you'd be scheduled for, with a like $12 per hour job, $20 per hour, $20 for 3 hours at that point is what you're making for that entire interview. However long it takes, you're not making that per hour it's taking you to make sure that you're dedicating it to this customer and making sure that you're pitching them the items or whatever. You're making $20 for that entire presentation. And if it takes anything longer than that, well, shit, you should have been faster. Or hopefully you can learn from this so that you can sell it better. This is not conducive to anyone. That let me know it was a pyramid scheme immediately. But then after I got out of the whole pyramid schemey thing of it, they got done explaining what the product was we were selling and the benefits of everything, blah, 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 blah. They go to name-dropping celebrities. Now, in all of my work experience, because I've been working from 17 to my ever-fresh young age of forever 21, because after I turn 21, no one is going to know how old I am anymore, and realistically, you can figure it out. I'm essentially Mariah Careying myself. You can figure out my age and everything, but if I have any say in it, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to be, I was born circa this time, which means I'm either this or this. You can guess how old I am, but either way, I'm forever 21. And I'm going to do my best to maintain that. And that's not what I mean by fighting aging or whatever. I'm just going to live as though I'm forever 21. I'm going to be forever young. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Anyways. In all of my years of working, I have never heard any kind of company name drop different people who will work for them. Because that is stupid. Like, celebrities will say, yeah, I used to work at McDonald's or Wendy's or Chipotle, whatever. But for the company to do it, that was just tacky. Even if it wasn't a red flag, it was just an ugly look. Like, you're really telling me the best marketing strategy for you to get me to work for this company is you telling me the fact that an NBA coach's son used to sell this stuff, or that a gymnast used to, like an Olympic gymnast used to sell this stuff. This is your going rate? If they can do it, you can do it too. No, that's ugly. Trash. Anyways. And at that point, I was already checked out. But during that whole thing, while they were name dropping it, they sent you this questionnaire. They're all like, are you excited? Like, assuming you get the job, would you be excited? I'm like, no. And I made sure I put all the questions on there that would make them either dismiss me or actually come and ask me questions, because I wanted to talk this through. And I could sense that this guy knew that I wasn't going for it, or rather, I wasn't going for this whole pyramid scheme thing, because I could tell like, he saw the smile and everything on my face because I came with a presentable attitude, but I also came with hard-hitting questions. Like, so, explain to me how this works. And that was a simple question like that from the presentation. If I couldn't gather that information from the presentation, I shouldn't be having to ask you that question. But then asking after that, how does that work? How exactly are we just selling knives, or is this just specific, a company catered to this item, this situation? What can you tell me about how this works out? How am I supposed to actually sell this to people? Because I feel myself, and I'm in this space where I'm having to start with my family and friends and stuff, but I'm from an urban area where most of the people I know are working fast food jobs. And you said it during your presentation, as much as you may have been joking about it, and don't backpedal now. No. Stick to your words. You said, we're looking for people who are 30 and older, usually, who have career jobs and can afford to actually buy our products. Because we can make a small sale for $50, or we can go anywhere between $50 and $1,000. Another red flag. So now I'm already over my 3 red flag quota. Why the fuck is anyone gonna spend anything up to $1,000 for some fucking knives? Especially if we are not chefs, if we're not culinary artists of any kind, if we are not professionals of any kind. Why are we investing $1,000 in some knives? More importantly, I'm from the hood. I feel like I've said this too. We get our knives from the 99-cent store, Dollar Tree, Walmart, Target if we're feeling fancy. Maybe we might even go to a grocery store, pick up some knives. We are not spending $50 on some knives, let alone anywhere between that to $1,000. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And then on top of that, if you sell $1,000 worth of product commission-wise anyways, you make 10% of that. So if I just made them $1,000, I'm only getting $100 of that. I wish the fuck I would. I wish the entire fuck I would. That's for every... What? Stupidity. And then I began asking, so then how do the wages work exactly? Because I know we're supposed to be selling these items, but it said, how does the, by appointment situation work? Because initially it was, set up to say we were making $20 an hour, but it says we're not working on an hourly basis, we're working by appointment. And if we're working by appointment, this is when he gets to explaining that whole anywhere between 20 to 3 hours situation. I'm like, so then how do we ensure that we're making our maximum selling rate? Because if it can take up to 3 hours, doesn't that sound detrimental to us, especially as college students? And it's supposed to be low risk, but also how does the company make money then? And at the point when I said, how is the company making money, he began to try and rush me and set me up to go, hey, how can we wrap this up? I know you have a lot of questions. Maybe you can look into the website more. You can email me. You can get back to it later. Why are you in such a rush to get rid of me if you were trying to recruit me for this company? If you wanted to hear my questions out about this interview, especially considering the way the interviews were set up, there was one at 9:45 and the next one wasn't until 3 p.m. You had time to answer my questions. You just didn't want to answer the questions because you felt like you could not actively answer them the right way. Or if you couldn't answer them the right way, answering them truthfully would prove that this isn't actually a good thing for someone. So then he begins to go, hey, yeah, hopefully you've got my contact information. I don't think so anyways. I'll have to double check my email because I don't think he sent me his actual email. I think that was sent from an automated thing. But, oh no, he sent me his actual email. But he's like, you can email me any other questions you have. Make sure you give it about 2 weeks. If you're feeling interested, you can get back to me. I'm like, okay, thank you for having me. He's like, I have to get to the other interviewers now, so take care. Thank you. Let me know what you think. I'm like, bye-bye. I must have got off that shit so fast. I'm like, never gonna do it, 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 no. Now that I've got all that giggling and fun stuff out of the way, I'm gonna tell you, for picking petals, I'm not picking a petal this time. What I'm gonna do is present a bunch of questions for information, so that if ever you find yourself in a position where you feel you might be in the middle of a pyramid scheme, you can ask these questions just to make sure that you're not getting got. Like, one, the opening question, like I said, should be, what product are you selling? Like, all legitimate businesses sell a product or service. This means the moment your MLM sponsor says there's no need for you to sell anything, run away. Now, likely, a lot of people have gotten past that step already. Like, most people are going to have something for you to sell. Major multi-level marketing, whatever it's called, basically. I forgot what MLM stands for. Basically, anytime you're like pyramid scheme people are pitching items, they typically have things for you to sell nowadays, because they're all like, you need to do something. Before, we're just selling you the idea of a dream, of blah, 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 blah. But I found myself in this position where, again, I did not know what we were selling until I was good into this interview and had already wasted 20 minutes of my time that I could have been devoted to other things, because I do have things to do. The next question you need to ask them is, can I make money without recruiting anyone? The answer has to be yes, because you should be able to make money through commissions paid on sales of the products, and it's easier to continuously sell products than to continuously recruit people. If they're having you get people, this is a problem. And that was a question that this company could not actually answer, and give me what I needed, because what they said was, even if they do not find out or find themselves interested, get their information, or rather ask them to recommend you to different people that maybe would be interested in buying it. And so you want to get 2 to 3 customers from them so that you can continue making more presentations. Now, the next question, it's a little tricky, but you should also ask anyways. Is it possible for me to make more money than you? Now, you should have the same income potential as people who have been there for a while, because compensation and making money is plain and fair. The intent should not be to sell a product, not sell a position. My goal should not be to try and get to where you are as a executive VP, blah, 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 blah. My goal should be to make sure I'm working so that I can earn and make my money. Now, I have no idea what this part means, so if you want to investigate in this further, I didn't have to get this far. It says, if I have no downlines, is it possible to make as much money as someone who has downlines? It says, the answer must be yes. You should be able to earn as much from simply selling products as someone who is more focused on recruitment. Be sure to have your recruiter do the math in front of you. If they cannot, then run away. The next question says, if everyone stops recruiting, can everyone still make money? This answer should still be yes, because it should be focused on the product, not the people. Always remember, pyramid schemes are worried about people, getting people roped into this to either sell product because they want you to try and market them in, or rope them in so that they can get more bodies out there spreading the word on this, or so that they can get more people interested in potentially, again, spreading the word on this so they can get more bodies working or more products sold. It's a win-win either way for them, because they get to talk to more people and they're like, hey, you want to work for us? If not, you want to buy something? Nah? Well, can you tell us someone who might? Okay. Now, my next question would be, is there a reasonable product return policy? Now, I need, this question makes obvious sense. But on top of that, I didn't even get this far because I didn't get to ask this question. Because like I said, I began asking questions to try and figure out what was going on with the legitimacy of this program because nothing was adding up. There should be no reason why if I got these knives or I sold these knives to these customers, they shouldn't be able to return them. And now me being from the hood, I'm not going to lie to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the phone with these people. And since I know that, like, if I was in this and I found out this was a pyramid scheme situation that I was working for, I'm be like, hey, look, you can buy these. If you don't like it, send it back. If you do like it, send it back. Because you can use them for whatever you want to use them for, send them back, and you cool. There should be some sensible return policy. Or if not like that, I'm going to let them know what's up with the return policy I should be able to let them know the day of. I'm like, hey, this happens. And if something happens to go wrong with your product or you don't enjoy it, this is how you can return it back to us at no cost to you or at little cost to you, whatever it may be. Whatever the situation is with the return policy, I should be able to explain that to the customers when they're buying it so that they know they're not stuck with something that they're going to hate. Excuse me. My next question should be, does your product have fair market value? There is no reason, and there was no way they were explaining why these knives cost as much as they did. I did ask this question. I didn't ask it in these exact phrasings, but this is me asking, like, so about these knives, like, what exactly are we selling that would range from between $50 to $100? That's essentially the same question. Does it have fair market value? I'm like, why exactly do these knives cost anywhere between $50 to $1,000? And he's all like, they're just really high quality knives, and we sell other products to go with them. I'm like, but all we sell the presentation of knives, so then what else are we selling? And he just deflected and changed the subject, and I took note of it, but I don't think he would pay attention to the fact that I was taking notes. And he started trying to compliment me. He's like, obviously I see that you're very, very intelligent and I get good energy from you. I don't know if this is a seller for you, so I want you to take this information, come back to me, let me know what you want to do. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so the last question that this site recommends that you ask is, why would non-members want to buy your product? There should be a compelling reason to buy their product, especially for those who do not want to become a member. This is a test if a product can be sustained if recruitment stops. If I'm not bringing in more people, why should they buy this without being able to recommend me to more people? Why would they want to buy this without having to invest in new people? Why would they want to Or if they want to tell me more people, like, why should I be trying to gather more people if there's no interest in the product? Make it make sense. And so, all in all, before I get into plugging new routes, I just want to really make sure that y'all pay attention when things are coming to you, obviously, but then on top of that, make sure that you're watching and listening all along the way. Because like I said, a goal for me this year is working on listening to the advice and information I've been given. Make sure that you're paying attention to everything on there. Because if there's not enough information telling you about what that job is looking for, that is not a job. That is a scam of some sort. Or if there's too much information. Because there's a whole thing where us as college students have been getting a lot of different emails where we've been told everything we need to do about the job, as well as everything we're going to need for the job process before we've even been considered. We receive a mass email, and we know it's a mass email because stupid people don't send it out a no reply, and on top of it being a no reply, they don't also mask the recipients as BCCs or whatever. We're getting these emails and they're like, I'm a this, and that. I'm looking for an assistant. You would be paid this much. You would be having to do this, X, Y, and Z. All I would need from you is a copy of your birth certificate, your social, your ID. I need your student number, da-da-da-da-da. Why are you telling me all this stuff in an email? If you're looking to recruit me for the job, tell me what the job is, or tell me who you are and that you're looking for an assistant, and then let me get to the point where, like, if you give it all away, that's danger. Danger. Do not cross. Do not enter. Now for Plugging New Roots, the first song is by a lovely R&B group named En Vogue. I'm kidding, it's In Vogue. In Vogue is the song I'm gonna do is My Lovin', but essentially, like, it's the first thing that comes to mind, like, immediately going through that was Never Gonna Get It. Cause why would I set myself up to be it? Like, you could be a scammer on your own time, but being a scammer should not come at risk to you either. The second one's gonna be again, all of these songs are pretty much just humorous takes on saying no. But the second one was No by Meghan Trainor. My name is no. My sign is no. My number is no. Because there's no reason. Like, none of this made sense. And then, damn, I forgot what song I wanted to do for number 3. Essentially, it was like, I think it was Call the Cops, actually, is the name of the song. There we go. Because this is like, none of this makes sense. You're in danger. Which was actually going to lead to song number 4. Danger by Mystical. Because all of these different songs, like I said, it's between no and the different things that were on my mind when I was, like, listening to them. I'm like, none of this makes sense. And then the final song is going to be Get Out by JoJo. Because, like, there was no way at any given moment where this is going to make sense. So for me, it was already a done deal from the minute he started talking, having a double talk and trying to connive and, like, try and con me out of this. To try and get me to enroll and be interested in it. I wasn't here for it. I really was not. And now for Turning a New Leaf, what I will say is, don't give up on the potential of achieving what you want because your manifestation proved out to be wrong. Continue looking, because like I said, if you jumped at that first thing, you weren't manifesting. You got played by the universe, because manifestation is desires plus work. If you found it on your first go, that wasn't you putting in any work. That's luck. And sometimes luck works out, but luck is both good and bad. And falling into a pyramid scheme is incredibly bad luck. And it was luck, just bad luck, like I said. So now, with all this information, I encourage you to be wary, be careful, and I didn't tell you all this to scare you. I told you all this so that you could learn from my experience. Thank you all for allowing me to be myself, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.